Today it's about foundational values in our lives. Today it's about one thing that could literally change your entire trajectory if you do it, soon enough. Which is, the time is now. It's a foundational life lesson that I thankfully learned quite young. And it's responsibility, but not just any responsibility. Okay. I'm not talking about being responsible for your mom or um, and a homeless guy on the street. Like that's cool, but the responsibility I speak of is self responsibility. Yes, that's the only thing that can really change your life at all. If you don't have that, you're done for. And I'm not talking about like in total. Your entire life should be self responsible. You don't have to start there. I didn't start there. No. Um, when I was a boy, and rightfully so, when you're a boy, you're not really self sufficient. I mean, sorry, self responsible. Responsible for your own being and the things you do. You're not. You have to learn that. No one really teaches that to you. But I thankfully had a pretty bad life as a boy, full of consumption and YouTube and even, some of this stuff. Uh, and yeah, I got depressed. I also hated school, which is another good thing for me. I just hated that stuff so much. I cried all the time. I was a very emotional child. And that led me to become depressed. And as a depressed boy, you're very logical, you reason, you think a lot. Okay? Um, you become like a philosopher. Sure, sure, right? A philosopher. I didn't have any cool inputs coming in. There was no self improvement for me back then. All I had was myself, the bed, and YouTube. And a lot of the time I'd get off YouTube and just cry. And sometimes I'd stop crying and I'd lie in the bed. And this is where it started. I gained a kind of nihilistic view on the world. Nothing matters. Mom, look, I hate school. Why do I have to do this? Nothing matters, man. I thought nothing mattered. Actually, yeah, I was more like nothing matters. This is life. I kept walking through school, through life, had no friends, didn't even when I wanted them, I just played the role of who I was. Anyway, it got to a point when I'm lying in bed every night, going back to it, thinking about nihilism. Didn't even know what nihilism was, right? But I had these ideas in my head. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Is this true? If nothing matters, then what? Eventually, I got to the conclusion that yeah, looking at the extreme scale of everything, the universe, nothing does matter. Nothing matters at all in the grand scheme of things, the ultra grand scheme of things. Even your legacy word doesn't not last. It just gets mixed in there like a grain of sand in a sandbox. But the point was for me at that moment, if nothing matters, why do I get up in the morning to go to school? Sure, I stay in bed like for an hour extra than I'm supposed to, but I go to school. I still have friends I speak to, like people I speak to. Um, Also, if nothing matters, why am I in bed and why am I not out of bed? Like, it doesn't matter that I'm here. It doesn't matter that I'm there. Why am I here then? There was these all these inconsistencies with that ideology of nothing matters because I exist in different states in different times. So what makes that tick? If nothing matters, why am I like this? Why am I in bed and not here? Is working and studying? Like it was hard to wrap my head around. It was a paradox, right? And I thought, okay, there needs to be some sort of compass. There needs to be some sort of thing that can actually show me what matters. And I hadn't found it. And every night I'd go to bed and think about this, and it never came to me. I was very apathetic at this time of my life as well. I was a humdrum zombie brain. It was also, going late into bed. As the days ticked on, I didn't have the answers still, and just kept doing what I was doing, um, until eventually, in front of the whole school during an assembly, I had to like give a presentation, a speech with the whole class, and I was asked to like carry flowers to the teachers afterwards. Forgot to do that, but I knew I had to do something. So I walked down to go do my thing, forgetting it, and just stood there. That was a humiliating point in my life. The first one, the first shameful moment. And walking out of that, um, that's when I started taking responsibility, because finally there was a compass. It was my thoughts were just running on that moment in my brain that, yeah, you ashamed yourself, bro. You were there. You didn't know what to do. Some girl had to do it for you somehow. I don't know how she even adopted that responsibility. Whatever, you did nothing. So that kept ringing in my brain. And I was wondering why, and I realized, I should probably change something. And then I looked at, okay, why do I want to change something? And I found out that my compass for my life was my emotions, the way I feel. It's not about like a true compass, it's your emotions. I didn't like that answer at all. How can your frivolous emotions, your short-term things actually be a guide for your life, actually be a compass? There's no way that's what the compass is. But it was the only answer I had. It was the only compass I had. And so I took it. That was my responsibility, finally, for myself, that I took. That I would listen to my emotions, which were practically gone. But the more I listened to them as a compass, the more they came back. And I could tell a little more what things meant to me. Going to my friends and laughing was fun. Yes, I did have a few friends throughout high school. I mean, primary school. Yeah, I was a little kid. Um, that was fun. Being doing schoolwork was kind of fun as well. It was like just these subtle emotions in me. And whenever I had a thought hurricane, a thought tornado in my mind, I would tell myself, I don't care. I stopped caring. I literally would walk away from them in real life. Because when these thoughts come to you, usually like, I don't know, you're walking to a place and you slow down and you just get these thoughts in your brain. And I'd be like, no, I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't care about anything. I adopted that mentality and followed my compass of emotions. And I'd walk away again after I slowed down with these thoughts. I'd be like, shut up. I walked away. Back to where I was going. That was my mental responsibility, and I jumped out of everything. So that was the beginning of my entire improvement, responsibility, self-sufficiency. You could say that was my FTE. Fuck this event. That's what everyone calls it these days. I had that when I was, what, 12? Yeah, I had it when I was 12. I had my fuck this event when I was 12. It's 8, no, 7 years later, 7 years after that. And this is who I've become. All because I started taking responsibility for my emotions, for my circumstance. I tried to go on my phone less, which was very difficult. I tried to stop the momentum of the pornography addiction, also very difficult. And, only like a year or two ago, I was able to beat that thing. Finally done. Bro. I'm finally not choking that chicken anymore. It took long enough, bro. Yo, but yeah, done with that. Life's good, bro. And it all started by taking some responsibility, not too much. I didn't take responsibility for my whole life. If I did, I'd be a lot further ahead. The more I take for myself, the better. But I took some, and that made all the difference. All the difference. That's the foundational part of life that I think we all need. Because without taking responsibility, you're just a boy left to his whims. You're kind of meekly allowing everything else to just take you over. So you need to take responsibility in order to escape and be yourself. That's like the first thing you've got to do. You are better and you are stronger, but that's dormant within you unless you take responsibility, until you take responsibility. And most people, they don't really need this advice because they've already started somehow, some way. But hey, some people haven't. Just remember to take responsibility. Okay, sometimes we need to be reminded. Well, here's your reminder. Take responsibility for your circumstances. I guess that's it then. I'm done.